There was a time when you were right there, offering everything of value you had. You were gold, reliable, genuine, loving, and worth more than they could ever imagine. But they didn't see it. They took you for granted, walked away, or let you slip through their fingers. Maybe they thought they could do better or that they could find something easier. Maybe they believed there was something else out there that would satisfy them. Whatever the reason, they walked away from gold. Now, look at them. They're chasing dust. They're scrambling for something that doesn't compare to what they had with you. They're pursuing temporary pleasures, shallow distractions, and empty promises, while you, the gold they once rejected, are shining brighter than ever. It's not about revenge. It's not about gloating. It's about understanding your worth. You were never meant to chase after people who couldn't see your value. You were meant for more than that. And now, as you rise and evolve, they're stuck with their choices. They walked away from gold, thinking they could find something better. Now, as they chase after dust, they'll realize that what they had was priceless. And by the time they understand, it will be too late. You know your worth. And as you continue to grow, they'll be left to wonder why they ever let you go. There are people in life who will doubt you, criticize you, or even try to bring you down. They'll question your goals, make fun of your dreams, and scoff at the hard work you put in. They think you're not capable of achieving what you're striving for. They believe their opinions, their judgments have some power over your future. But here's the truth. You don't need to prove anything to them. You don't need to explain your worth or validate your dreams to anyone. Because the best way to humble those who doubt you is not through words, but through action. Let your wins speak for themselves. When you achieve what they thought was impossible, when you reach heights they never thought you'd reach, let that be your message. Let that be the moment when they realize they were wrong about you. They don't need to hear you say, "I told you so." They'll see it in your success. They'll see it in your growth. Every accomplishment, every milestone, every victory you achieve will remind them of what they once underestimated. It's not about rubbing it in their faces. It's about the quiet strength of knowing that your success is the greatest response to their doubt. Their egos may have led them to believe they knew better, that they could predict your future, but your wins will make them question their own assumptions. They'll be humbled not by your words, but by the undeniable proof of your progress, your resilience, and your success. As you rise, remember this. You don't have to prove your worth to anyone. You don't need their approval or validation. Your wins are enough. They'll speak volumes without you saying a word. So let them watch as you succeed. Let them watch as you achieve what they once thought was out of reach. And as you do, let your success humble their ego in the most powerful way possible. There's power in silence. You don't owe anyone an explanation for the choices you make, the path you walk, or the dreams you chase. People will always try to question you, doubt your decisions, and ask why you're doing what you're doing. They'll want to know why you've chosen this route, why you're so determined, or why you're moving forward without their approval. But here's the truth. You don't have to explain yourself. When you're walking in your purpose, some people will never understand. They'll ask questions, but they'll never fully comprehend the why behind your actions. And that's okay. You're not living to satisfy their curiosity or to make them comfortable. Your journey is yours, and yours alone. Instead of explaining yourself, let your actions do the talking. Let your success speak louder than words ever could. Every time you try to explain, you give away your power. You waste energy trying to convince people who aren't truly interested in understanding your vision. Why should you break it down for those who don't even have the capacity to appreciate what you're doing? So let them watch in silence. Let them see you thrive. Let them witness your growth and achievements. Your journey doesn't need their approval. The people who truly care about you will respect your decisions without needing an explanation. And those who don't, they'll be left wondering, silently watching as you continue to rise. So don't feel the need to explain yourself. Let your success speak for you. Let them watch in silence, and let your actions say everything they'll ever need to know. Your silence is not empty, it's not a void. It's a statement, a declaration, a boundary. When you choose silence over anger, you're not giving up. You're rising above. You're showing them that their words, their actions, their chaos doesn't have power over you. And that breaks them in ways anger never could. Think about it. Anger is loud, it's reactive, it's explosive, and when you respond with anger, you give them exactly what they want, a reaction. You validate their behavior, you give them control. But silence? Silence is different. Silence is calm. Silence is controlled. Silence says, I see you, but you're not worth my energy. And that is devastating to someone who thrives on drama. When you choose silence, you take away their power, you take away their ability to manipulate, to provoke, to control. You show them that you're unshaken, that you're unmoved, that you're operating on a level they can't reach. And that realization, that's what breaks them. Silence is not weakness, it's strength. It's the strength to walk away, the strength to let go, the strength to protect your peace. And when you do that, you win. Not because you've defeated them, but because you've refused to let them defeat you. So the next time someone tries to pull you into their chaos, remember this. You don't have to respond. You don't have to engage. You don't have to prove anything. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is say nothing at all. Let your silence speak for you. Let it be the boundary they can't cross. Let it be the armor that protects your peace. Your silence will break them in ways anger never could. Not because you're trying to hurt them, but because you're refusing to let them hurt you. Now go out there and let your silence do the talking. Your kindness was not a sign of weakness. People will mistake your kindness for weakness. They will assume that because you are patient, you will always tolerate their disrespect. Because you are forgiving, they can continue to hurt you without consequence. Because you are understanding, they can take advantage of your generosity. But what they fail to realize is that your kindness is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of strength. It takes strength to be kind in a world that is often cruel. It takes strength to keep giving even when people don't appreciate it. It takes strength to choose love over hate, patience over anger, and compassion over revenge. Weak people don't do that. Weak people lash out, weak people hold grudges, weak people take the easy road of selfishness and bitterness. But you chose to be different. And yet, there were moments when you questioned yourself. You wondered if you were too nice, too forgiving, too willing to see the good in others, because no matter how much you gave, some people only took. No matter how much you cared, some people only used you. And at times it felt like being kind was a curse, like it only led to disappointment and heartbreak. But here's what you need to understand. Your kindness was never the problem. Their inability to value it was. The way people treat you is a reflection of who they are, not of who you are. Just because someone didn't appreciate you doesn't mean you should stop being a good person. You do not need to become cold to protect yourself. You just need to be wiser about who you give your warmth to. At some point, the people who took you for granted will realize their mistake. They will see that the kindness they mistook for weakness was actually a rare and powerful gift. They will remember the way you stood by them, the way you uplifted them, the way you never gave up on them, even when they didn't deserve it. And by the time they realize it, you will have already moved on. So don't regret being kind. Don't regret being the person who cared. You are rare and the world needs more of your light. But just remember this. Being kind doesn't mean being a doormat. Being kind doesn't mean tolerating mistreatment. Being kind doesn't mean allowing people to walk all over you. Kindness and self-respect go hand in hand. There comes a point in life when you realize that some people never truly appreciated you. They took your kindness for weakness, your patience for permission, and your presence for granted. You gave them your time, your energy, your loyalty, but instead of valuing you, they treated you like an option, assuming you would always be there. But that's about to change. Because one day, you stop chasing, you stop over-explaining, you stop begging for the respect, love, and appreciation you should have never had to ask for in the first place. And when that day comes, when you finally walk away, when you shift your focus back to yourself and your growth, that's the moment they realize what they lost. But by then, it's too late. The truth is, people don't always recognize what they have when they have it. They assume you'll always be there, always understanding, always forgiving, no matter how much they ignore you, disrespect you, or make you feel unseen. They get comfortable. They start believing that no matter how they treat you, you won't leave. And as long as you continue to tolerate it, they have no reason to change. But when you decide to walk away, not out of anger, not to prove a point, but because you finally understand your worth, everything shifts. The absence of your presence speaks louder than your words ever could. The energy, the love, the care that you once poured into them is now being directed toward yourself. And that's when they start to notice. That's when regret sets in. They will look for you in the people they meet. They will replay old conversations in their mind. They will wonder why they didn't appreciate you when they had the chance. And suddenly, all the things they once overlooked, the way you listened, the way you cared, the way you stood by them, become painfully clear. But by then, you're already gone. This isn't about revenge. This isn't about making them suffer. This is about self-respect. This is about recognizing that you should never have to beg for love, attention, or respect. The right people will never make you feel like an afterthought. The right people will never make you question your worth. And the moment you realize this, you stop settling. So if you've been feeling unappreciated, if you've been pouring into people who only take from you, if you've been tolerating less than you deserve, it's time to step back. Not to punish them, not to teach them a lesson, but because you deserve better. And when you do, when you shift your energy and start valuing yourself the way they never did, they will feel your absence in ways they never imagined. But by then, it won't even matter, because you'll have already moved on. You'll be thriving, growing, and stepping into a life where you are surrounded by people who see your worth. Not just when you leave, but while you're still there.